I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are... Gary the Snake. And your last name? The Snake.
Dream team.
And new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working at
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney+, rated PG.
Welcome back to Crime Besties. Here we are for another episode. Another week has gone by. It has been school holidays. And we're recording on a Thursday night, which is a little different to normal.
I've just realised too, actually, it's Thursday night. It's Thursday the 25th of September. You're here. I'm here. You know what that means?
What?
We didn't get raptured.
Oh, it's true.
Now,
true.
That kind of tells me that maybe whatever God you believe in, I think she must listen to our podcast.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We'll take it.
Whatever.
Oh, I love it. How's your week been? You've had a little bit of time without kids,
R&R.
bit of R&R,
Yeah.
much needed R&R. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a pedicure.
Nice.
Yeah. I've had a couple of just lay-ins, just wake up and then just go, I don't have to be up. Lay there
how
and,
lovely.
scroll my phone till it finishes sort of stuff, and just whatevs.
It doesn't ever finish though.
No, that's the problem. It's like,
Until
get
you've
up.
had enough of it. All right.
Yeah, there
Get
are things
up.
that I can do. It's not that I have to do them.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, that's been nice to do that. And then, but I've had some nice dinners out with friends and catch-ups. One particular, and we worked out when we got there, I hadn't seen her in 12 months, and that's not okay.
No,
we were both,
no.
Like, obviously we're talking, but not caught up in person. And so I was like, oh, that's not okay.
No.
So we've locked in another one before Christmas. Just to
good idea.
Really counteract that. They're like, so
Yeah.
that's nice. Yeah. Get
Beautiful.
times to do those things. And, I was going to go into work, but I haven't.
Good girl.
I thought, no, that's not right.
No, you've got holidays for a reason.
Yeah.
And
you've,
much needed.
You've been camping. Now that's out of the norm.
That's the antithesis of a holiday. It's like, so we went away with a couple of families from school and we went not far, about an hour and a half from home. The park we stayed at a Big Four. It was great. There were so many facilities for the kids.
That's what I love about
It
them.
was just-
I prefer to do that with the kids than even like an Airbnb for that
Yeah.
reason. Like not
It
the
was-
camping side of it. I'll get a cabin. Thank you very
Oh my
much.
God.
Yeah, the fact that they've got bike tracks and like one I've been to has had a mini golf course.
Yeah,
and
this one had mini golf, tennis,
basketball rings.
basketball. It had a swimming pool that was heated, so
yes.
they could swim in even though it was cold.
Yeah.
There was a games room. It had foosball and air hockey. Oh, it was very well set up. And the kids, we barely saw them, which was great.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
That's
they're off
the
their devices and all that sort of stuff. It's good.
Yeah.
It's very, very good.
That's it.
So that was a look. There were really good parts of it, but I'm not a camper. I'm really just not that into it because, okay, so I came home and I was like, the first day it absolutely pissed down, right? So everything got wet. Everything needed washing when we got home. And I'm like literally everything. I just said to you before, we got home yesterday. I'm pretty sure I'm like 7 or 8 loads in and I think I've just hit the halfway mark.
Oh no, what on earth are you washing?
Like, so we took bathers, towels.
Yeah, okay.
Towels for us.
Yes.
So that's, 3 loads there basically.
Oh, whoa.
Then we've got
You
all
mustn't
of
load your washing machine up like I do.
We've actually got a pretty big washing machine too. I think it's like 10 kilos.
I shove that shit in.
We've
I'm like,
got,
oh no, that'll fit in one load.
oh no, see, I like a bit of space in the washing machine.
Yeah.
Especially because most of this stuff was really filthy.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then we had like all of the sleeping bags need, because they're all a bit damp. They all needed a wash.
yuck.
Like just there's so, oh my God. I walked into the laundry just before and I'm like, it's so fucking overwhelming. But it'll get there. It'll get there. We're recording this the day before the grand final public holiday in Victoria. So I've got a long weekend now to...
That's really not what you want to spend your long weekend doing either.
No, it's not, but I'll get it done. Like at least I've got the time to do it and I'm not sort of piecemealing it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But the actual camping, look, for what it was great. Good company and everything, and the kids had a ball, and I do get the appeal of it if the weather is perfect. But
is that you using like toilet blocks and stuff?
No, we had an
showers, or-
ensuite site.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Which is actually the way to do
Okay.
camping. So we had our own toilet shower
Okay.
on our
better.
site.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I don't like toilet blocks, or I know it makes me sound so precious.
Oh,
but
I
no.
know. No. I sleep under 5 stars. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Not 25,000. I mean, the stars out there were beautiful. But I'm telling you what, we were not slumming it, because one of our friends, he's a tradie and he brought his work van.
Yeah.
And inside his work van, he's got a microwave, an air fryer. We had a slushy machine. We had a projector. The kids watched movies at night. Like, it was not, we weren't
not really
slumming
slumming
it.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
We had everything we wanted and then some.
Yeah. But it's just that, I don't know, the comfortable couch that you can't have, or I don't know. Yeah. It's not the same.
I get the appeal of it, but also it's not really my thing. But anyway, we had fun and it was good. And it was a good way to keep the kids entertained for half a week during the school holidays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. And it gets the kids out and doing things. I like
That's it.
Very
so that was
good.
us. Next week, I don't know, I'm working and I
Yeah.
don't know, it's that juggle, back to the normal juggle next week. And
Yeah. We head off next week for our trip. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be nice. How many nights are you going for?
Just three nights.
Yeah.
And again, only like 2.5 hours away. It's not a huge drive, but lots of things planned. I've booked all the extra bits and pieces now that we're going to do. So I'm feeling like we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
That'll be
fun.
good. That'll be really good.
Yes. A glass
Really
of
nice.
vino in the evenings.
Oh, yes. I mean, that's that is a saving grace of camping.
Yeah, I don't know who I am really, because before when you said to me, would you like another glass of wine? I went, oh, no, I'm driving. And then went, no, we've still
We've got
record.
at least a couple of hours.
So we've got to get it.
So, yes, we are partaking in a vino or two. Meg came over for dinner before we started recording. She was subjected to the chaos of our
No.
dinner.
Oh, my God. The chaos. The food was good. I was just enjoying the food. Food was amazing. So the chaos is nothing. Kids were eating. Like, what is this?
What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's-
Kids sitting at the table. What? Oh, God. He could probably sit on a chair. That would be amazing.
Yep. He needs a wobble cushion.
He's got one.
Oh, okay.
Shoot me.
All right. Okay. Say no more. Say no more. We were talking before we hit record today as well about how much engagement we've had over the last week. We are
Been
blown
insane.
away. So first of all, Steph D'Souza, who I think we've mentioned on the podcast before, she gave us a really generous buy me a coffee donation. Oh my God, a few months ago now.
Yeah.
And she actually, and in our episode, we were like, I wonder if she'll do a shout out for us. And she actually did on Instagram, I
And
think
TikTok,
it was,
yeah.
and TikTok. And she just put our tagline in there. And we think we've seen like a massive uptick in listens from her. So any of you listening who came from Steph, first of all, thanks for coming over here and checking us out.
Yes.
Second of all to Steph, thank you.
Massive.
Like we can't
Officially
thank you enough.
friend of the podcast, I'm going to say.
Friend of the podcast, Steph D'Souza. Yes, you are. You have no choice but to be now.
No, you're stuck with us.
Yeah, that's it. Once you're stuck,
You never
you're
want to go back. It's good. It's good.
You're stuck. We've had some really gorgeous comments this week. We had Shannon who sent us a message about
love
her
this.
dad, Steve. So Shannon McRitchie sent us a message. She said her dad got us onto our podcast. He doesn't have any social media or anything like that. And she asked us to give him a shout out. So Steve, first of all, what a rad dad.
Yeah. Oh, and just for him, absolute piece of shit, these characters we talk about.
Aren't they?
He loves it, apparently, so we will keep going.
So thanks, Steve, and thanks, Shannon, for for thinking to contact us and
love that.
and give your dad a shout out. So thank you, and we love it that we've got some men followers, and we have seen quite a few comments this week from men. So thank you, because you're certainly not our key demographic. So any of you who want to be here, we'll take it. Another one, we had Anthony making lots of comments this week.
He's made some suggestions. I need to go and look into it. It's a different one to what I didn't know anything about it, so I'm going to do a bit of a look into that one, and it sounds very, very interesting.
I'll have to add it to the list. Yeah. And then we had, I'm going to butcher this username. It's Ads Hey Simons. Who's also given us a really nice comment on Spotify. And then last but not least, we've got 2 new Patreons this week. A massive, massive shout out to Amy James and Leanne Lydon. Leanne, I think both of them have actually given us, have bought us coffees before.
Wow.
The names certainly sound familiar. So thank you, ladies, for joining us over on Patreon. Just before we hit record, we actually popped a couple of photos of our setup to everyone. So if that's something that you're interested in and want to know a bit more about the process, because we did have a question this week about that too. Mm-hmm. Maybe our next Patreon episode can be a little bit more about how we do what we do and our process and But yeah, and the other thing to note is we've got a Patreon episode that's coming up. We'll probably release that this week.
Yeah, I think we'll release that this week.
Yeah. Excellent. Cool. Very good.
Should we mention too that with the coming weeks, we've got obviously the episode that we're recording right now will be released. And then the following week, we will have a week off from releases. So just taking a break for the 1 week. If you're over on Patreon, though, you will get an extra episode over there. So come and join us there if you want to get a little bonus episode of us for that. So you'll get the ones that we've already dropped, obviously, and that new one that will come. And then we'll pick back up again a week later.
Should we give a little teaser about what that Patreon-only episode's about?
Oh, yes, the one that we've recorded already.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. So we've recorded already, and it is about Real Housewives crime.
And there's so much of it.
Oh, there is so much of it.
I reckon we barely even scratched the surface.
Totally. We've gone from the biggest ones that we sort of could find. Yeah. But man, there's many.
So many DUIs, so many misdemeanors.
So many. And then there's the crime fashion. I mean, really.
We didn't even touch on that really, but fair.
Yeah, so much to get into there. And do you know what I found this week that I hadn't spoken to you about yet was that Emily from OC has her own true crime podcast with her husband Shane.
What?
Need to check it out. I haven't listened yet. It's only had about 20 odd episodes released. They've only started this year. They're only sort of more consistently releasing, from what I can see, recent stuff. So it looks like over the course of the year they've been dabbling, I think. But yeah, I've got to look into it more. But yeah, it's called Legally Brunette.
Legally Brunette.
Yes.
I wonder if they're going to get copyrighted. I'll have to give that a go.
It's because they're both lawyers, so they come at the true crime aspect from a legal point of view. Okay. So very interesting. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. So combining our two loves.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
If data management is slowing down your business, you need the Intuit ERP. If one entity is here, and one here, and one here, and one here, you need the Intuit ERP. If scaling your business feels like starting over, you need the Intuit ERP. Intuit Enterprise Suite is the AI-native ERP solution that consolidates, migrates, and automates, all in one place. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
Amazon presents Jeff versus Taco Truck Salsa. Whether it's Verde, Roja, or the orange one. For Jeff, trying any salsa is like playing Russian roulette with a flamethrower. Luckily, Jeff saved with Amazon and stocked up on antacids, ginger tea, and milk. Habanero? More like habanero, yes. Save the everyday with Amazon.
Are we ready to get into today's episode?
Now, this is huge. I want to first and foremost say, I think I will get into, because this is all during lockdowns and COVID stuff, that I didn't actually know a lot of stuff about this. I went down a rabbit hole, which we'll get into when we get through this, that I seem to have missed a heap of information that came with this that we will get into as well.
Okay.
That when I've really looked into this, I'm like, oh, wow.
Before we really get started, I actually want to dedicate this episode to my dad.
Oh, yeah.
He was the one, he was like, you've got to do this case. I really want to hear your take on it. So, Russ, massive shout out to you. Yeah. Today we're talking about the Wonnangatta Valley murders of, I guess, deaths of Russell Hill and Carol Clay, and the perpetrator of, part of the crime, I suppose we can say now, Gregory Lynn. So before we even get started, I know I just said that about my dad, but Peter, I've been listening to the Missing Campers trial a lot. I listened to it when it was coming out, and then it was sort of similar to the Mushroom trial, the Mushroom Lady trial, where they had episodes every day while that was going through the court. And it was really interesting. I found it incredibly fascinating.
Yeah, they gave a lot of information.
A lot of detail.
Yeah.
And it was great. But Peter takes particular offence to the fact that they call Greg Lynn disgraced Jetstar pilot Gregory Lynn, because at the end of the day, Peter's like, why do they even say that? It's media sensationalism.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's because if you're a commercial airline pilot, and he worked for Ansett and Jetstar.
And Qatar Airlines as well.
And Qatar,
yeah.
You want to trust the person at the helm of that airplane.
Absolutely.
And if they are then capable of the things that he has now been convicted of being capable of, that's really disconcerting.
Or even just the things he's admitted to blatantly.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
that's disconcerting.
And
so
he wasn't just a pilot, as in he was a training captain. So that means that he trained other captains into those roles. So he was the next level up too.
Yeah.
He was big deal.
Yeah.
Interesting character though, in that many people didn't want to fly with him.
I looked into a lot of the psychology behind his personality, which we will definitely get to in this episode. He's beyond interesting.
Oh, yeah. And there's lots more to him than meets the eye.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. So, on the morning of the 16th of March, I think contextually, sorry, before we even get started, contextually.
Yeah.
We are talking literally the day or the days prior to and then the day Melbourne went into its first lockdown. Where were you?
At home.
Already locked down because you had young children.
Pretty much, because I was trying to think, so we had kinder age kind of children. So yeah, I was at home, very much so anyway. But I mean, I know with work context as well, because there was this news coming that it was this thing, and how is this going to impact us? That it was kind of this looming for probably a few weeks prior of us all. And I remember sitting at a meeting actually at council, at where we live at a school, not our school council.
No, this
at
is
our local area council.
Yep.
I was on a board there for something, and there was a guy on the board there who was not very knowledgeable in this area, who stated, "Oh, it's not going to affect us." And I remember sitting there going, "Oh gosh, that's just so opposite to what I'm hearing everywhere else."
Yeah.
That I'm like, well, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
100%. And he was like, I've been traveling all over the world and I'm hearing it from different, he'd come back from China, not long prior.
Of course China are going to say there's...
Yeah, but he'd been traveling and things and nah, this isn't going to affect us. We're fine. And I was like, okay, cool. Good. And then bang.
Yeah, I actually still remember exactly where I was when I heard the announcement. So my eldest was in prep at the time.
Yeah.
And I was walking into the school gates and I kind of walked into the gate with a mum I knew. And she's like, "Oh, did you hear they're making an announcement at 3:30?" Which is exactly when
3:30 every freaking day.
Which is the exact time that the kids get out of school. I'm like, right, I'm going to pick him up. I'm going to get back into the car and I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah.
And then finding out we were going into lockdown the next day.
It was like, get all your shit and get home.
Everyone was like, oh my God. And, my eldest hadn't even completed one term of prep yet. It was so mental.
It was absolutely
bizarre.
mental. Yeah. Yeah. So there's people who are heading out, who are going off camping at this point, were really doing it kind of going, don't know if we'll get another opportunity to, like, kind of thing. There were lots of people out at that point because it was going to close down, and they were getting in a last trip. And
the threat of it, brought everyone out. They're like, well, we might as well do it now because we don't know when we're going to be able to do it again.
Yeah.
And also, given it was March, the weather was
going to turn anyway. So, like, as in, you get that last bit of the weather, and let's really push it because we'll make sure we do it because we don't know what's going to happen around the corner. So,
and it was close enough to school holidays that there were probably families doing that anyway.
Yeah.
So, it was an interesting time.
Oh, yeah. Get that twitch.
I just don't know that I actually even want to think about it from that context. But it gives you a bit of an idea of where everyone was at in relation to this story and how it all unfolded.
It did mean that I think when this occurred, though, everyone was a bit gripped to it because it was either this or Tiger King, like.
Tiger King. Oh, my God.
Go back and listen to that episode.
Yeah. Carol Baskin. Killed her husband, whacked him.
Oh, yeah. So it wasn't a hell of a lot keeping us interested that, you really got into this. And so there was lots of theories, I think, being, flown around, which I definitely got into one. But we'll get to it.
Oh, I can't wait. I actually can't wait to hear this. So basically, on the 16th of March in 2020, Gregory Lynn decided to go camping. And it was for the exact reasons that we were just talking about now. He sort of anticipated the fact that the world was going to shut down. He was an airline pilot. I believe he'd been stood down at that point.
Yeah, so he had been stood down, but purely just because there were less flights, was less happening. They needed people to do that. So he had put his hand, he had voluntarily done it. He hadn't been told to by the airline. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
He voluntarily stood himself down and took the leave. So he was just on leave, but his wife also worked for Jetstar in the cabin crew.
Yep.
So she was still working though at the time. So she was still in employment there and working shifts and things and flying out.
Yeah, he's packed up. He's gone for a bit of a camp in the high country in Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a particular campsite that's really popular amongst really seasoned campers because when you enter into the Wonnangatta Valley, there is nothing. You don't have any cell reception, no mobile phone coverage. You are literally camping in the middle of nowhere, dense bushland, and there is no. I mean, you have to being on your own, don't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. You're not going to come across other people out here. If you bump into someone, that's pretty unheard of. There's certain camping spots that are well known and people use. You might it's possible you rock up there and find one other person camping in the same spot, particularly in certain spots where there was access to the river, the creek and things like that for water and those sorts of things. But chances of, on the roads and things as you're going in, you don't see people and people do massive big hikes through there. It is dense. There was one particular couple I was listening to talking about the fact that they got lost out there and were rescued, obviously, because they were telling their story. But and that's not unheard of. I mean, to be honest, 4 to 5 roughly on average per year, people go missing in this area. Most of them found.
Yeah.
So this couple particularly, what she was talking about was when they were trying to find a way out, they were walking through spots where her husband would get sort of 2 meters ahead of her and she would say, stop, you've got to stop. I can't see you. That dense. She was unable to find him when he was 2 meters away from her.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
But it gives you a bit of an idea of how dense and how, oh my God, just such challenging terrain.
Well, I mean, we're talking about this area, the high country of Victoria. This is not Man from Snowy River, countryside. And there's a quote in that movie of saying that beautiful one day and trying to kill you the next.
Yeah.
So, and that's exactly what this place is. It's absolutely stunning. I mean, I've done a fair few trips out there myself, full driving and what have you in the past, and stunning
Beautiful.
views. But yeah, it's dangerous as if you don't know what you're doing out there, you're screwed.
That's the whole thing. I think Gregory Lynn was quite a decent bushman. This was something that he he enjoyed doing as a pastime. He had like a whole array of guns, and he was a hunter.
Yeah.
He did a lot of hiking and all of that sort of stuff. These were things that he did as a hobby. And so, I guess with the imminent lockdowns looming, he decided to get away for a little while. And he ended up at what is known as Bucks Camp.
Yeah.
And he set up camp there on the night of the 16th of March. On the morning of the 19th of March in 2020, Russell Hill said goodbye to his wife and packed his four-wheel drive and drove to Carol Clay's home. So she lived in the outskirts of Melbourne she lived in
Pakenham-ish, I believe, yeah. Yep.
In Victoria. And he picked her up on his way and headed off for the valley. So I think it's probably worth noting now that Russell Hill and Carol Clay had a very long-standing affair. They were childhood sweethearts, and neither of them actually, this is according to friends who knew them and who knew them as a couple, as an illegitimate couple. Neither of them could really recall why they broke up when they were teenagers, but for whatever reason, life separated them. They both married different people,
had children,
had families, had lives. But at some point, and I believe they'd sort of been having this affair for something like 20 years.
Yeah, so early 2000s, they found each other again, however that came about.
Yeah.
Bumped into
they
each other,
lived in
what
the
have
same
you.
area, so it makes sense that they might have bumped into one
Just
another.
randomly saw each other and, kicked off their affair at that point. Russell was introducing her to people as his cousin.
Yep.
When at places, so and that kind of gave him an opportunity to be able to spend time with her publicly, I guess, without it being looked at as unusual. His wife Robin was telling her this was his first cousin, and that's why he was catching up with her. At some point, though, it did come out that she wasn't his first cousin, and Russell did admit to Robin that it wasn't a cousin and that he was having an affair. He told Robin that it was over, it was not happening anymore, and that was that. It was not.
No, that
they
wasn't
continued
quite right.
on with their affair. So at this point, when Russell goes out, picks her up, heads off into the high country together, Robin is under the impression that affair is long done and dusted and non-existent.
Well, she doesn't know that he's picking her up.
No, absolutely no knowledge. No, zero knowledge of her being part of his life still.
Yeah. So Carol Clay's husband had actually passed away during the course
they
of this
did
affair.
divorce too.
Yeah.
So because from what I can gather, there was sort of a bit of a pact of like, well, they were going to leave their prospective others. And so with that, she did, but Russell did not. Yeah. So, then unfortunately he did pass away in that soon after that as well.
Yeah. How would you feel if you were Carol Clay and that happened?
Oh, I don't know.
Didn't happen, like I just feel like this is such a common story, like, I'll leave my wife. Yeah, no worries. And then it just doesn't happen. And I really feel for Carol in that instance because she was obviously holding out hope that would happen. She'd upheld her end of the bargain.
And these two, I mean, clearly she liked going out with him and doing these trips. And this was something that she was happy to do, whereas Robin wasn't interested in doing that stuff with Russell. I kind of get to this point of going like, at that point in your life, I mean, they're both, 74, 73 years of age. So at that age, I'm kind of a little bit more of like, you do you. Like, you've got your life and your kids and your wife that you do love. I think he genuinely loved Robin.
Agreed.
And he loved the life he had with her.
I agree with that.
And then, but there's this other woman who he's had this childhood long loving for all his life. They've got this interest together that they're happy to go and do.
Although I did read somewhere that Carol wasn't that into camping and bushmanship like Russell was, but because she loved spending time with him and it was kind of the only way that they could do it, she was happy to go along with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it was a shared interest, but for her it was motivated by the fact that she got to spend time with Russell.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
So anyway, they've headed off down to the Wonnangatta Valley and this is an area that Russell knew very, very well. He'd worked as a logger in the area in the past, and he'd also worked as a road grader. So he'd actually made roads and paths and all of that stuff into the valley.
Particular ones that he was travelling on in this area. Yeah.
Yeah,
Knew them
that's
very
it.
well.
Yeah, that's it. So he was described as having a second to none knowledge of the area. They decided to head to Buck's camp as well, and they've set up their tent. They've driven in, set up their tent, and they knew there was somebody else there. It was very obvious there's somebody else.
Well, because the other person that was there, being obviously Gregory Lynn, he had taken the spot that you wanted. Basically, it had the immediate access to the creek there and everything. So, which they sort of, I dare say, when they've rocked up, they're kind of like, oh crap,
damn it,
the spot we wanted. Oh well. So they've gone over a bit further from him, but not terribly far away from each other though. So
I think they were still within viewing
50
distance.
metres.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
A couple of days later, a man by the name of Andrew Marquardt was in the Wonnangatta Valley with his family, and he knew Buck's camp. He'd been there before, and so he was with his family. They decided to go for a look in and see what was going on around the way. And what he saw was a white Land Cruiser single cab ute, which looked like it was burnt out. And he thought, oh, that's really strange. Like, not something he'd obviously ever seen there before. There was no one around. And he just thought it was really odd. Anyway, he kind of moved on, and they went and camped not far down the track somewhere at a different campsite that night. But it kind of got the better of him. And the next morning he went back there and he found an esky which was underneath the car, and pulled that out. And when he opened it, he realised there was fresh food in it. So I guess that kind of linked for him, going, this campsite is new. This has not been here for a long time, for months or anything,
and someone is around, like. And it didn't add up for him what he was seeing in the campsite at all.
Yeah, he looked through the windows of the Land Cruiser as well, and he saw a wallet that was open. He saw a handbag on the floor, and he's like, oh, this is really weird. Like, something's not quite right here. He also saw, like, burnt tent poles and lots of charring on the metal of the car. All very, very strange. And then also I think he saw like a burnt out gas cylinder as well, like a camping gas bottle
inside the tent.
Yeah.
Which you don't cook inside a tent.
Never.
Anyone who camps knows
Never.
that.
You
don't ever do that.
You don't put a gas bottle inside an enclosed space.
No. So that was like very unusual. But he basically was like, because there's no cell,
no mobile
access out there
reception,
whatsoever.
no.
Not a hell of a lot he can do at that point. He didn't have radio access. So he had to wait until he got out of the area before he could contact anyone.
He did take some photos at the time on his mobile phone, which was great. But he didn't leave the area to the point where he was at mobile phone coverage for like a week.
It was
Is
it
that
was
right?
extended period of time.
It was a while.
He didn't sort of go, oh, we need to leave today to report this. Like it was odd, and that I need to pass this information on to someone when we go.
Basically.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else, I guess, that went, oh, that's, there's somebody's in immediate danger.
Yeah, he was I think he made an assumption that there was potentially a second vehicle that had exited the people from the camp.
Yeah.
That had...
Like there'd been an incident, there'd been a fire or something, and they had to leave.
Another vehicle has taken them out because he like to go like 24 hours where no one's come back to this site, but it's clearly recent that this has occurred. Like, they're obviously safe because they're not here.
Yeah.
So, he kind of moved on from it going... I don't know what the go is here, but I'll report it. But not know what that will do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, the police had been contacted regarding a couple of missing people who were Russell and Carol.
Yep.
Now, the first people to really raise the alarm were Russell was a very astute ham radio enthusiast.
Well, I would say even more than an enthusiast. He was fully licensed and certified in using them, which is...
I'm going to call it an enthusiast because what else are you... What are you using it for?
He loved this thing.
He loved it.
He was so into it.
And he had a group of cronies who would get on every night at 6 p.m. and have a chat.
Yep.
And, you know, if one of them was out camping, because they were all sort of bushy type of people, they would check in, make sure they were okay. Because if you don't have mobile phone coverage, you can still get a signal on your ham radio.
Absolutely.
And so what actually caused the first contact with police was from one of these people in this group, in this ham radio group, who realised that Russell actually hadn't been on for 3 days.
Yeah, so he contacted, his name was Robin Ashland, and he contacted Robin Hill, Russell's wife, and said, have you heard from him? Because he's not been on the radio. Now, this Robin Ashland, he knew about Carol Clay too.
They had been on a camping trip together.
Yeah. So he was aware that there was things he probably couldn't say too. Yeah. So he did contact Robin and said to her, have you heard from him? And when she said no, and then assuming that he would have on the ham radio, because what she would actually tune in. She didn't have the license to communicate over the ham radio, but she could tune in each night and listen to him. So on the first night when he got to this campsite at Buck's campsite, she had listened. She usually didn't listen to the whole conversation. She would just listen and go, "Oh, there he is. He's fine.
Yep.
Turn it off.
He's
Not
arrived.
Interested in your shit on that. Whatever, boys. Like,
no one
carry
cares."
on. But yeah, she would listen to make sure he was safe. But she had noted too that he wasn't on the radio. And so when Robin Ashland contacted her and said he's not been on, she was, oh, this isn't right. And he said, I think you probably should contact the police because he's not been on the radio. Maybe he's stuck somewhere.
I thought he contacted the police.
No, Robin did. Okay. Yeah. Well, they're both named Robin, so maybe that's where the confusion
Yeah, maybe
comes.
that's where I got confused. Okay.
Yeah, Robin and Robin.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, Robin Hill did raise the alarm on that end. Unbeknownst to her, they had also family members of Carol had raised the flag as well that she was missing. The two had yet to be, linked together at that point, because it did take them a bit of time to get out to this campsite where they were too, to be able to pinpoint where it was.
5 days, I think, from the first point.
Yeah.
Of raising the alarm and issuing the missing persons sort of report.
Yes.
Because they didn't know where they were exactly. And so the police were searching the Wonnangatta Valley. But you've got to think contextually as well. This is exactly the exact same time that Melbourne was going into lockdown. So the police
that
were
affected
involved
it as well.
Massively. The police were involved in roadblocks and, a lot of different public safety measures. Yes. All of that.
All of that was going on at the same time. So, but when the police do get out to the campsite, what they find is a wallet of Russell's as well, but also of Carol Clay. So they were out there looking for Russell because with Carol Clay, they didn't really know even where to start looking at all. Like, they actually didn't know where she was at all. Whereas getting out there and they were actually searching for Russell, finding his campsite, his car, his wallet, all those sorts of things, but also finding a wallet with Carol Clay's things. The police then, awkward, had to ring Robin and say, do you know a woman by the name of Carol Clay? And why would she be out here with him? So that was a bit of a eye-opening moment for her. So obviously she's not only dealing with the fact that, your husband's missing. We've found the campsite and it's burnt out. And also his ex-lover is here.
Ex-lover? They were never ex-lovers. But according to her,
they were. So, but at this point too, her 3 daughters with Russell had no idea who Carol Clay was and what connection she was to their dad. No. So she had to explain to their daughters what's going on with Dad.
Dad's been having this affair for many, 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 many years at this point.
Now public.
Yeah. And I heard an interview with Carol Clay's daughter with regard to this. And she said at this time the police asked her to sign a media release to issue some information, or basically do a public appeal for information, anything that might lead to the whereabouts of her mum and of Russell Hill. And she said at the time, I would do anything to find my mum. So of course I signed it. But she said, I knew in doing so that it would expose my mum for something that she really wasn't at her core.
No.
Because Carol Clay was an incredibly upstanding member of society.
Yep.
She was the president of the CWA, the Country Women's Association.
Yep.
And which had taken her all around the world in terms of she was a natural born leader. I think you look at photos of her and you think, oh yeah, you were a really lovely woman.
Yeah, so put together.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, if it weren't for this indiscretion, which I'm sure she would have felt horrific about too, but then, you know, the heart wants what the heart wants.
Yep.
I just think every other aspect of her life she would have hit the mark every single time. She just had that sort of aura about her.
Yeah.
And so her daughter was like, I really didn't want to have to tarnish Mum's name by saying yes to this, but I also wouldn't have stopped at anything to find her. So...
But in that, she wasn't the one having the affair, technically, at that point.
But
she had,
but she also knew Russell was married.
Yeah,
so, I mean, you're complicit.
Absolutely.
You're complicit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Adobe Acrobat, your new foundation. Use PDF spaces to generate a presentation. Grab your docs, your permits, your moves. AI levels up your pitch, gets it in a groove. Choose a template with your timeless cool. Come on now, let's flex those tools. Draft, design, deliver, make it sing. AI builds the deck so you can build that thing. Do that with Acrobat.
Learn more at adobe.com/do-that-with-acrobat.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
So the other thing, I guess, that the police noted when they got to the campsite was not only what was there, but what was not there.
Yeah.
And what was not there were their phones and a drone. So I think they'd asked Robin Hill, you know, what did he take with him?
What did he go there to do?
Why was he there? What was the motivation aside from having an affair with Carol? And his wife said, look, he loved flying drones, surveying the area. That was kind of his thing. It was part of his hobby. And so the drone wasn't there. And Robin knew he'd taken it. And then obviously both of them had mobile phones as well, neither of which were found at the campsite. So that really sparked interest in the police. And I guess that sort of led them down the path of looking to see, okay, well, let's find out what these mobile phones have actually been doing. All this time. And what they can see is that they travelled into the Wonnangatta Valley, I think through Myrtleford.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And at whatever point where everyone loses mobile phone reception, they lost reception. And then what they see is 3 days later or 2 days later. 2 days later.
Yeah, 2 days later. Yeah.
The phone then... Russell's phone actually then pings at Mount Hotham.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, interesting. I wonder what this is all about. So they start, you know, looking down this path, and what they ended up doing, which I think is an absolutely before they even get to this point, just very quickly, they did all the normal missing person stuff, proof of life checks, because I think once they found out that Carol and Russell were having an affair, they thought, have they staged their disappearance?
They had to eliminate the fact of like, have these two run off on of their own accord? Because people are allowed to do that.
Absolutely. It's not illegal to go missing.
If they don't want to be found, they don't have to be found.
Yeah, exactly.
So they had to determine whether or not this was something that they really needed to be putting their resources into, particularly at this time when they needed resources elsewhere, police as well. So they really needed to narrow this down to like what exactly is going on here. But very quickly, from all accounts of everyone they spoke to, whether they were having the affair or not, like that's just not in their personality that they were going to run off and disappear.
Carol had grandchildren who she was very heavily involved in their lives. There's no way she would have left them. No way. Yeah. Like no way at all.
Everyone they spoke to just adamantly was like, that is not something that would be on the cards.
Yeah, that's exactly
So police were very good at quickly realising that, ruling that out. then the only other options left are that there's been, that they've got lost somewhere. They've gone on a hike, say, someone's gotten injured.
That didn't explain the campsite being
It doesn't
burnt
explain
out.
that. So there's always that goes with it. But, could they just be lost? Could there have been a campfire? They've gone to get help and haven't been able to get it.
Yeah.
Whatever has happened, so no foul play as such, but something naturally occurring in that sense that they've disappeared and they need to find them in that vicinity.
Yeah.
Or is this a matter of, a third party being involved or at least one other third, party being involved in this and that there's foul play?
So the third party you're, I think, alluding to is the button man.
I went way down that rabbit hole.
Oh, tell me everything. Tell me everything.
So for those who don't know, for a very long time, and I've known about this. And, look,
the button man is folklore.
Myth, legend, whatever you want to call it.
Everyone knows, everyone in Victoria, if you've ever been camping in the high country, you know of the button man.
You know the button man. And so it's just, and to be honest, up until this point, I was under the impression that part of me was he wasn't real. Right?
Oh.
I know.
No, he's real.
Oh, I know. Now. At the time, I've always been told he was real, but there was part of me going, do you know what? He's probably not, and people are just trying to scare the shit out of me when I've gone camping and stuff, right?
It's like the drop dance.
So, yes, exactly. I wasn't fully convinced that this was a real person, but obviously with this occurring and being in lockdown, I was like, I'm going to solve this. It's fully the button man. I went into a total rabbit hole of the button man. So the button man is, now, there are different opinions of button man.
Yep.
There are very much people who say that he is a Mansfield local.
Yep.
Enjoys his alone time, and goes out into the high country, is incredibly skilled out in the wilderness, but he's harmless.
Yep.
There are other people who have different opinions of him and have had different experiences of him, and they would call him a recluse and a full-blown nut job. Now, the reason he's called the button man is that he has antlers from deers that he has, killed and in hunting.
Yep.
That he has made buttons out of, and he wears these buttons. Yes. Tick. But there's all these stories of people coming across him in the wilderness. Now, whether he does this out of, a bit of joy for himself or what, but he is so good at being out in the wilderness that you won't know he's there and he will appear. So people have been out hunting, literally, in the quiet, trying to, get everyone, no one's making noise, laying down, ready to shoot a deer, and all of a sudden the button man will appear. Creep me out, something shocking. Even worse to that, I think. There's a particular guy who has experienced the button man, well, we assume, in that he was out there doing photography and around, it was actually around near Buck's camp as well, where this occurred, that he was taking incredibly spectacular photos night after night, day after day sort of thing, and spending time out there. And when he got home, and this is back, before, I guess, digital photography, that he was looking at these photos that he'd taken, he got back home again and started to print his photos, in the lab and develop them.
Yep.
And he found a photo of himself sleeping in his tent.
Oh, isn't that so creepy?
Oh, that makes my skin crawl.
I know.
Do you imagine finding that on your camera?
Oh, I would never go camp. I would never go there again. Done. Never again.
Clearly he has come into his tent.
Yep.
Never woken him. No. And when you're out camping, you kind of...
You're attuned
up a
to
little
it.
more.
Yeah, you don't. It's no deep sleep.
Oh, you don't get deep sleep on camp. No, God, there's always something. There's a bug. There's a dampness on your tent. There's something that's going to keep you a bit awake overnight. No. He took a photo of him inside his tent. So he is a very interesting man and very creepy. And now the simple fact is that in the area, and particularly close to this event, there were 2 other people who had gone missing.
Yeah.
Now, a number of people believe that the button man is actually the cause for other people's deaths. Now, there is also people, i.e. the police, who have interviewed the button man, and I'm now aware the police have a very good relationship with this person.
Yeah.
No one knows his name.
Yeah, no, it's not known.
Not known.
No.
He's a 70-year-old man, but it's actually the way it was described to me by someone was that he's a 70-year-old man who moves like a 35-year-old.
I've heard that too.
Blows my mind. I mean, although 35, I can hurt too. A very fit 35-year-old, okay? So he's incredible. Yeah, just unbelievable. But so the police, they know exactly who he is. They have pulled him on a number of occasions to have conversations with him about this. They pulled him in at this point. They did interview him about Russell Hill and Carol Clay and cleared him.
Yep.
Now, that didn't really maybe come out in the public enough because I was way down that rabbit hole.
Oh, right. You're like, nah, he's done it. Convict him. Lock him away.
I was definitely, it's definitely Button Man. It's definitely him. Yeah, because it just blows my mind. And he just lives out there basically.
Yeah.
He will wander into town, like into Mansfield and get supplies every now and then, but he just lives off the land, out in the high country.
And I think he's quite transient. It's not like he's got a solid base or anything.
He's got a particular. He does actually. He has got a camp where he basically calls home.
But
and
does that move around though?
No, not really. He's got a particular spot. You won't be able to find it.
Yeah.
But he has a particular spot, and it's elevated, so where he has he can fully see like the entire valley almost, and from where he is.
Okay.
And that's where he will be like, I can see there's this campfire. 3 kilometres away that way, and another one 10 kilometres. Oh, God, how many lines have I had?
You've only had 2. What's going on? I mean, bumper pause, but
it's always when Emma does it. Yeah, 10 kilometres away. That's why he will then just appear on these people out of nowhere. He's on top of all of it that goes on.
Fuck, that is so creepy.
Yeah.
The police did other proof of life checks as well to see that Russell and Carol hadn't potentially run off together, but they hadn't used their bank accounts. They hadn't used, it's not like they'd used their Medicare cards.
No.
There was nothing to suggest that they had run away and were anywhere to be found, or anywhere in terms of having potentially staged their own disappearances anyway.
No. So they checked, there are a number of points where you enter the area where there are cameras. So from these cameras, they could see who had exited the national park and area over those days.
Yeah.
And there were actually 12 vehicles that they could get on these cameras.
So are you talking now about the Mount Hotham cameras?
Multiple cameras from all sorts of exit points.
Okay.
Over the course of the day that they expected them to have left the area. There was 12 vehicles that they had, so they went and followed up all of those. Yep. Every single one of them. Because they obviously had camera of the number plates.
Yep.
Now, a lot of these people voluntarily, knowing what had happened in the area, voluntarily went to the police and said, we were in the area, we didn't see anything, to let them know. Others, the police did have to go and find, and they'd be, I was out that way, didn't know anything about it, lockdowns. Yep. And they cleared all of them. Bar one. So there was a particular one that they go out and speak to him, being that of Gregory Lynn. They did go and speak to him, and from the reaction they got from him, they were like, thank you, sir. We've got all the information we need.
Yes.
Exit. However, there was some interesting things that they had from that, and they did leave that with him believing that they had cleared him by speaking to him.
Yep, he'd fooled them.
But they fully had not.
No.
Yeah.
So what they were able to put together after sort of seeing these 12 vehicles, and they were then like, all right, well, let's see what phones were pinging off the towers that were closest to those points where we have photos for these vehicles. And so they were able to then get a match for Gregory Lynn's vehicle, which was a Land Cruiser that was a dark blue. I believe.
Yep.
And Russell Hill's phone pinged off the cell tower there at the same time that they could see Greg Lynn's car going through that gantry.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
And this, I guess coupled with this interview, this home sort of thing that they did when they went to Gregory Lynn's house, they were like, oh, this is all very curious. What one of the sergeants noticed was that there was a Nissan Patrol parked in a side street near Gregory Lynn's house. It matched the description of what they'd seen in that photo, same number plate, but it was a different colour. It was now beige.
Tan beige colour.
Tanny beige colour.
Interestingly, when he bought that car in 1990s, it was white.
Yes. And then it was dark blue and now it's beige or tan.
Yep.
More tan.
Mm-hmm. We can go back to that if you like later.
Yeah, we absolutely will. We absolutely will. So the police are then trying to find out, okay, now how do we go about drawing him out? They had actually put some surveillance in his house, some covert surveillance. So they had listening devices in his house and in his car.
Yep.
And what they knew was that every Sunday night, Greg and his wife, Melanie,
yep.
would watch 60 Minutes. They knew it. It was every week they would watch it.
Yep.
And so what they decided to do was use the program to try and plant some
to try and get him
information
talking,
and
I
get
guess,
him
about
to talk
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they did was they kind of told the story up until this point where they're like, we've got this dark blue Nissan Patrol. Here's an image of the car, but we don't know who it belongs to. And, you know, they really kind of
ham it up a little bit in terms of the, you know, like, oh, we know we've got this guy. If we just find out who it is that owns this vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, it's really like the cops are like terrible actors.
Yeah. And they're like, and we're looking for a dark blue car.
No, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. And in the listening device, the police go back while the 60 Minutes episode's playing, and Greg's wife Melanie says to him,
she laughs about it.
Oh, that sounds like your car. That looks like your car.
Exactly like your car. Like that's amazing. And he snaps. Like that's not even funny.
Yeah.
He actually responds with,
yeah,
that's not even funny.
Yeah.
Nothing like mine.
Shuts her down.
Yeah.
In this time as well, so he's then seen this photo, this image on 60 Minutes, and he still at this point had a canopy, like a side canopy on the four-wheel drive. Even though he'd painted it, he hadn't taken the canopy off. He took that off immediately that night.
They've got video footage of him removing that off the side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting to note too that obviously they had this listening device in the house, and now this isn't illegal, but what was noted as what was being recorded, because they have like 5,000 different recordings of
it's a
huge
amount of evidence.
Huge amount. But what was noted by the police officer who had to listen to it all was, and you see through his notes, repeated numerous times, narcissistic, racist, misogynistic, like this theme of the type of personality he was in his own home was very interesting.
Towards his own wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Gross.
Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But it really shows the type of person that he is.
Definitely. So putting all this together, not too long after the 60 Minutes episode, they are able to go in and arrest him. Well, they bring him in, and he spends 4 days talking to police in interviews. Well, I shouldn't say talking to police. I believe it was the first 2 days of it, basically. His lawyer, weirdly enough, he'd contacted a lawyer and spoke to him over the phone, but the lawyer didn't come in, which is probably COVID. Maybe.
That's fair.
Now when I think about it.
That is weird.
Yeah. But his lawyer had said to him, don't answer any of their questions, right?
Classic.
So, because in the trial, this does come up a little bit, that the judge does say that the police shouldn't have maybe pushed so hard, that because he was following his instructions from his lawyer, and then he broke that and did speak eventually,
because
which he may not have done if...
He actually even says in the recording, he's like, against the advice of my lawyer, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah. One of the quotes from his interview then, I find this, I can't handle this. So his comment was, look, the assumption is that I'm the villain. In fact, I think I'm the victim of all this. You fucking sack of shit. He goes, it was wrong of me to hide those bodies like that. I should have just gone straight to police. I didn't want to do it. It was horrific. It was a horrific thing I had to do. I was sick the first couple of times. I just wanted it to go away and just to move on and never think about it again.
Because you can do that when you're that way inclined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gross. So he ended up in his interviews admitting that he knew he was part of it and he was there, but that it was not his fault.
Yep. Do you want me to go through his account of what he says happened on that night?
Yeah.
So he said he was there to hunt deer. He was at Buck's camp to hunt deer in the bush, and Russell Hill and Carol Clay had set up their camp, which he wasn't all that happy about.
No.
He wanted to be there on his own as well. So that kind of pissed him off a bit.
I mean, everyone wants to be on their own, and they,
Yeah.
you don't get it. So,
But tough shit. It's
Keep
a
to
free
yourself.
camp. Like, just keep to yourself. It's fine.
yeah.
Apparently they'd had a conversation the first night, and it was all sort of like, hey, how's it going? Everything was fairly amicable. What he then says is that later in the evening I think this was of the second day, Russell had his drone out and it was buzzing over Gregory Lynn's head. Now, I think it's worth noting here too, we only know one person's account of this. So we're only going at this from Gregory Lynn's perspective because Carol and Russell can't tell their story.
Yeah.
Okay, so Greg was really agitated by the fact that Russell was flying this drone overhead, and he said, you're not allowed to do that. It's within whatever meters of a person.
And he also admitted, he goes, I didn't want him capturing like footage of me because I had weapons and they weren't necessarily stored in a correct manner.
Yeah.
So
They were all loaded or something.
being a pilot, if he had a conviction of at all in terms of like not storing weapons correctly as they are supposed to be by law, he would lose his pilot's license.
Well, then fucking store them by law, you dipshit. Anyway,
So
sorry, go
he basically was inferring that what Russell was doing was purposely trying to get photos of him doing the wrong thing, because the other thing was that, or maybe it was around the fact he was hunting too close to the campsite too.
Yeah.
So, but the inference from Greg was that he was in fear that he was getting captured on camera by this drone, doing something he probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't happy about it, was asking him to not do that and to not have the drone near him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he kind of retreated back. They had a bit of an argument about the drone. Greg says he kind of retreated, had his dinner back at his little campsite, but was really brooding over this argument, like really getting
and cranked
furious.
his stereo up on his car
to piss them off.
To piss them off, and because I mean, when you're out camping like that, it's pitch black, like by very early.
Yes.
So at 9-10 o'clock at night, he's
you
at
wouldn't be
his
able to see your hand in
campsite,
front of your
50
face.
meters away, absolutely pounding out the music as loud as he possibly can. Russell and Carol are trying to have snuggle time, in the tent. And, I mean, they're elderly, they're camping. You'd be in bed by freaking 8:30, I reckon.
Yeah.
So by 9-10 o'clock, him pumping out that music, they were not happy with that. I can absolutely understand
he even
that.
admits that he chose the most annoying music he could find. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No boom chicka wow wow there.
Maybe that had already happened
Bit of
earlier
Barry
in the
White.
day. So I guess what happened after this is really what's in contention.
Yeah.
And that is the subject of the trial, because what Gregory Lynn says happened is that there was a dispute and it escalated. And he says that there was a scuffle. So he had a gun.
He claims that Russell went to his vehicle and took out his shotgun.
Yep.
To which he then approached Russell to try and get this gun off of him, like, that's mine. Now, we should say here, Russell had a real dislike of guns.
Yes.
He had, I believe it was a cousin, was killed in a hunting accident not that long ago, that he was very opposed to guns.
Yep.
So his family all say, be shocked if he picked up a gun. He had a gun at home that was given to him by a relative that he just didn't even like it being around because he just didn't like weapons and what they did. So for him to go and grab someone else's weapon and load it, which is what Greg accuses
he said
him
it wasn't
of.
loaded, but wasn't it?
Well, so he reckons that Russell loaded it and then was, threatening him with it. So then he went over and struggled with him. And in that struggle, he shot off a round in that one shot into the sky.
Yep.
Now, this is where
Gregory Lynn says it was like a warning shot.
A warning shot. Yeah, he wrestles with him with the weapon, and the weapon goes off randomly.
Yep.
And shoots Carol who's like hiding behind the vehicle.
She was hiding behind the vehicle, mostly behind the rear view, the side mirror.
Yeah. So apparently it hit her, killed her.
Through the side mirror.
Then, weirdly enough, he then claims that it seems to be, I couldn't really get this bit, where there seems to be then that happens and it's, Russell is obviously beside himself.
Yeah.
What's gone on here.
Yeah.
And there seems to be a stoppage of the wrestling over the weapon.
Yeah.
And then Russell picks up, again, he puts it on Russell, that he picks up a kitchen knife.
Yes.
And is then approaching Greg with that, to which they again have another tussle, and somehow Russell falls on his own knife and stabs himself in the chest.
Yeah.
Now, so many issues. But
look,
anyway.
so it's worth, I think we need to say Carol was shot in the head.
Yeah.
And died.
Well, that's
instantly.
what he claims, because.
Well, that's true.
That's
what
really,
he claims.
Yeah. And there's evidence that can support that.
There's no.
But no definitive answer to that.
There's no way to definitively know that.
No.
Although all signs point to that probably being her cause of death.
Exactly, but no one's going to sit there and go, yes, that's what occurred. Like, scientists are not willing to go that far.
Yeah.
But they were willing to say that there is some evidence that would support that.
Yeah.
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 Oh man! But in terms
it's just crazy
of Russell's death, now because of what Greg does next means that we don't have any answers for Russell.
None.
So what he does, in his words, he then panicked.
Yeah.
Which the cops then question vehemently, because he's a pilot.
Yep.
One of the key characteristics of a pilot is that they are cool, calm, and collected in a crisis.
They are trained.
Fully trained to be that way.
And we're talking a very senior pilot, a very experienced pilot, commercial pilot.
Not as if there were witnesses to this at this exact moment in time. So he's got time to breathe. But both these people, according to him, died immediately.
Yep.
So he's then left there with 2 dead bodies.
Yep.
And his decision at that point in time was to load those bodies onto his trailer.
Yep.
He pulled equipment, as we said, into the tent.
Yep.
And lit the campsite on fire.
He used a little bit of petrol from his car as an accelerant.
Yeah. Lit that to the point where, as we said, there was a Portaloo kind of tent in the background that didn't get any of the fire.
Yeah.
That was still standing, but the rest of the campsite was burnt to the ground, metal bars to nothing.
Yeah.
The side of his vehicle was also burnt.
Yeah.
So a pretty decent fire that was lit there. So he then, with these 2 bodies in the trailer of his car, and this is where he got picked up in terms of the cameras.
Yeah.
So he went to exit because he had an idea of where he was going to dump the bodies. Yeah. But he couldn't get out through where he expected to be able to get out. So he had to do like a 20 or 30 point turn to get turned back around with this trailer on the back of his car. Would have been a freaking nightmare. So he's had to turn back around, which has then thrown his plan altogether. And he's dumped the bodies where he didn't really want to, which was up near Mount Hotham, which is obviously when they've got a ping off of the mobile phone tower. He's dumped the bodies up there with every intention that he's like, I can't leave them here, but I've got no other choice. I'll need to do that and I'll come back later and sort it out.
Yeah.
He's left, and that's when it's gone into lockdown.
Yeah.
So he couldn't get back there to do anything about it for quite some time.
7 months.
Yeah, I think it was late in Mayish. I think we came out of lockdown.
It was a few months at the first instance. Yeah,
yeah, a good 7-8 weeks potentially, or something like that we're in lockdown for. Oh God, kill me. So he did go back a first time, and at that point he did move the bodies again.
Yeah.
But when he was quite surprised when he got there. There had been no animal attack on the bodies, he said, or anything. They were quite.
And because it was getting into the cooler months as well, they hadn't decomposed as much as he thought they would have.
Yeah. But so again, he did move them.
Yep.
He admits all this. He, again, exited, went out. He did return a second time. And at this time, he decided to burn the bodies. And he didn't just burn the bodies. So when he decided to do this, he apparently burnt them for 12 hours. Absolutely. And then he crushed up the remains which meant that that's where we're saying there is no evidence as to how Russell died. We couldn't tell you from scientific evidence whether he was stabbed, shot, strangled. There is no cause of death that we can have for his body. The most that was able to be found in the trial that they talked about was for Carol. There were some cranium fragments that they could say had come in contact with metal.
Yeah.
Therefore, that potentially could mean
it was a bullet. Yeah.
That, but even that, they wouldn't even draw that as a definitive conclusion.
No, there was no strong forensic evidence of that.
Yeah, but had come in contact with metal, therefore potentially could be that could be the bullet that has maybe touched there. So
this second site, they found 2,000 fragments belonging to Carol and Russell.
Yeah.
Tiny little fragments.
Because they were able to do amazing stuff, so in terms of just finding DNA to find out what was there and what wasn't. Yeah. Now, we should say too, this wasn't found until after they arrested.
Yes, Greg.
Greg was after they arrested him. Yeah. So there was, I think it could have been actually a couple of months later. I've probably got the dates here written, actually.
I feel like it was a little while later.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a quote from Gregory Lynn about why he did what he did. I panicked and I thought, that's my shotgun. There's one person dead and he's dead as well now. I'm going to be found guilty of this.
What an interesting language to use. I found that fascinating.
I just had to write that down because I'm like, that's very telling.
I'm going to be found guilty of this.
I am guilty of this?
Not, oh, Jesus, they don't think I did this.
But if you were innocent, wouldn't you go, if this had happened the way he said it happened, you'd go to the police, you'd be like, fucking hell, this just happened. I know, it is who cares about you?
Oh.
You've got to, I don't know. Why didn't he go to the police straight away?
Because he's a psychopath.
Obviously.
And there's evidence for that.
Yeah. He's a fucking,
Should we get into here who he was prior to this?
Let's do it.
Let's do that. So there's a number of things that link him to a number of incidents.
Yep.
So as we were saying earlier, his vehicle that he owned, he bought that back in 1990s, mid-1990s.
94, I think
94, was it?
Yep.
And when he purchased it, it was the colour white.
Yep.
Until he took a trip out into the, I want to say it was to Central Australia.
Yes, it was, yep.
He returned from Central Australia and turned it blue.
Why?
Because what's very interesting then is that this incident occurs and one of the first things he does is repaint his vehicle tan.
Yep.
Now, I just think that that's obviously something he's done previously. Why would you not do Yeah. So, just red flag number one.
Oh, fucking oath. And that's right. Past behaviour has dictated his future behaviour. So what has actually happened in the past to lead to the first colour change?
Yeah.
Yep, totally. Keep going.
He's also, he was, as we said, he had an ex-wife. His ex-wife was Lisa. Now, Lisa and him were married and they had a couple of kids. Now, it was very known that it was an abusive relationship. There are a number of incidences where one incident was absolutely horrific, where he had actually hog-tied her and left her out in the cold and hosed her down. It was in the middle of winter, hosed her down and then left her outside for at least 20 minutes. And so the police were called, and so this is all on record this occurred. His statement to the police was that he admitted that was bizarre behaviour for him to have done that to her.
Oh my God.
Now,
what a piece of shit.
In 1999, Lisa was found again on her lawn. Completely, she was dead. Yeah. But her blood alcohol level was 0.2.
Yep.
She also had sleeping pills in her system. Yep. She was not known to be a drinker. Nope. She would have a glass of wine, but she was not known to be a heavy drinker.
There's a lot of difference between a glass of wine and a 0.2 blood alcohol
is a
concentration.
Lot of alcohol.
That's a lot. That's 4 times the legal limit.
You're real off your head drunk.
You're drunk.
Yeah. That's not a glass of wine or two. That's not even that's more than a bottle.
Yeah.
Sort of situation. That's not Yeah. So she was. It was found at the time to be a suicide, and there was a coronial inquest into it at the time, and there wasn't found to be a third party involvement. However, this has been looked at again and has been reopened. The police are looking into it more. Many people, even at the time, had statements taken that really indicate that he was involved.
And this was including neighbours who'd witnessed like some absolutely horrific acts of violence against Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's see what comes of that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. There's another one.
Yep, go on.
Now, Lisa had very good friends that they lived around the corner from them at the time. And they're geared in family. There was a lady by the name of, Annie, and husband was Jacques. Now, they lived on Zigzag Road. I love that. Great name of a road.
Yeah.
Now, they were found it was found to, at the time, be labelled a murder-suicide in March of 2010. Now, in their house, it was found that they had 3 dogs that were found shot. And now they treated those dogs like their own children, like they were their children. So they were shot.
Oh my God.
Annie had been shot and in her bed, and Jacques was found with the shotgun, holding a shotgun, and as if he'd shot himself. Okay. Now, this was not something that anyone in the area would expect of this family. They were considered the most loved up couple. They were loved by everyone. During that day that they were found, they were out and about walking their dogs. They had phone calls with friends. They had been at a cafe out. They had done their normal day things. Nothing indicating that you would be going home to a murder-suicide. Oh, sorry, and they also burnt the house down.
Yeah.
The house was also burnt down.
That's what I find very interesting about this.
So, again, another little element.
Evidence to be disposed of.
Now, from what police have found, that in 2007, Greg Lynn returned from, he was, prior to that was with Qatar Airlines.
Yep.
And so he returned to Australia in 2007. So he was definitely in Melbourne, back in the area. We go back to when Lisa was alive in 99.
Yep.
And she was very good friends with this family.
Yep.
There have been rumours that Greg was not happy with them and that they potentially believed that he murdered Lisa.
I think they had made statements to that effect.
Yeah. So was there a grudge? Did he do something? Because the other interesting fact of this is that Jacques didn't own a gun. Jacques had never touched a gun, had no experience with guns whatsoever.
And a shotgun's a very interesting choice of weapon anyway for a suicide.
Uh-huh. Yeah. This gun has no connection to him whatsoever. Yeah. That no one can prove where this gun appeared from.
Yeah.
Sounds a little sus.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. So, and Greg Lynn's connected to them too.
Yeah. And all of the evidence was burnt, really. Like anything.
Yep, yet again.
There were no fingerprints that were able to be obtained from the scene.
Nope.
They couldn't get fingerprints off the gun or anything like that.
His,
they couldn't even get...
Jacques' fingerprints were on the gun, but he was holding it. Like he was found holding it.
It was kind of like on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Instagram teen accounts have automatic protections for what teens see and who can contact them, plus time management tools. And Instagram will continue adding built-in safety features to help create age-appropriate experiences. Learn more about teen accounts and Instagram's ongoing work to protect teens online at instagram.com/teen accounts.
Okay.
Greg is an incredibly intriguing character.
Yeah.
I missed all this side of him when this happened. I was too involved in the button man.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yes.
Yes. It's it's a very curious position. And obviously we can't say one way or another. And I don't think we're especially, maybe for Lisa's death, something may come of it. I think in this...
They're reopening both cases.
They are doing both, are they? Okay, so they must have evidence to be able to do that then. New and compelling evidence to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's watch this space and
I don't
see what
believe
happens.
that there was a coronial inquest for the first... I don't think there's been one for the Zigzag Road family. I think there definitely was for Lisa.
Yes.
But I believe they're going to do that again.
Right.
But
So,
yeah.
So they're reopening. They're doing another coronial inquest.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see what comes of that.
Yeah,
then.
see if that comes about and what goes on with that.
I mean,
because
given where Gregory Lynn is now, I feel like that's probably enough evidence to support opening a new. And the link
obviously
is there.
none of this was brought up in trial.
No,
I mean, police were fully aware of all this information at the time.
Yeah.
But none of that was obviously admissible in court.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. But yes, so we get to the trial, and the trial, it starts off interesting, the trial even, like, because they obviously they have the jury all ready to go.
Yeah.
On day one, and we don't know what happened here.
No.
But day one is meant to get started, and the next thing you know, the judge is dismissing that jury and saying we're going to have to get a whole new jury brought in. So that was a rocky start to it all anyway.
Yeah.
As I say, we don't know what happened, but something has occurred that they have decided, and the judge said this is no one's fault. It's just something that happens.
Of these
things. And they've just dismissed the entire jury. I'd be so pissed off if I was on that jury.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I'm going to get this juicy one, and then no.
I mean, although it was a
long
trial.
Yeah, true. Yes. So they end up having to get another lot of jury in, and obviously in a few spares. And they get the trial underway. The trial went for about 6 weeks,
Yes,
I think it was.
it was.
And it, like as we say, it didn't raise obviously all his previous things, but he went through all his story. He got on the stand, which again, narcissist.
Oh, absolutely. Like the narcissistic traits of this man, it just, and I think, so after the trial, they also released all of his police interviews and stuff to the public, which were very, very telling. And I think they absolutely nailed the fact, the way he speaks.
Yeah.
But even at the trial, nothing was about the impact of what he did on Russell, or not even what he did if he's claiming innocence, right? He never even acknowledged the fact that Russell and Carol's family had lost something in this whatever he thinks happened or whatever he says happened. He didn't even acknowledge that.
No.
Like, he's so fucking callous.
Yeah.
And all he cared about was himself.
Oh,
all he
100%.
cared about was how he was seen in this instance.
Yeah.
He wanted to uphold this view that he thought the public had of him, in that, he's this amazing, he's a pilot and he's...
Well, we should just say, in his own home, his wife called him captain.
Yeah.
Friends and family called him Wolf Creek, though.
Yeah, behind his back.
And I don't know if that's about how he looked, I think it was more behavioural than what he looked like.
Sure. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But his wife calling him captain, that just gave me the heebie-jeebies.
It totally gave me the ick.
The ick, yeah.
That's really...
fucked up. It's so fucked up.
It is fucked up. I mean, maybe in the bedroom, but I mean, really, like...
Only if he had his pilot hat on at the time.
Oh, God. Yes. Yeah. He's just, really just not right.
During the trial, I think the trial was like 5 weeks of evidence, and then it was a week of jury deliberations.
Yeah.
A week or so of jury deliberations. And during that week, he sat in that courtroom expressionless.
Yes.
Calm. Very composed, and he was taking prolific amounts of notes.
Well, there's the pilot.
Yeah.
I can, come at that in that sense.
Yeah.
I don't know people who work in the airline industry who have said to me that, look, if a pilot's not neurodivergent, I'd be concerned. Like, I'd prefer a neurodivergent pilot, someone who is very, meticulous in every way, and can be that calm in those sorts of, environments.
Instances,
So, but I don't know that that's what was going on for him, to be honest. I think it's not neurodivergence.
No. There were 49 witnesses that were called to the stand.
For the prosecution.
Yeah.
For the defence, there was only one.
One.
Being him.
Well, who else would they have called?
Yeah.
There was no one else for them to call.
Yeah. And I really am intrigued. Like, you'll never know the answer to this, but I'd love to know. I mean, they generally say that no defence lawyer would expect their client to get on the stand. And usually it is basically a situation where, you know, that they have to, legally they have to give their client the opportunity to and say that is something you can do. We advise that you don't, though, you know, is usually the line. And I really want to know how far that went in that conversation.
I bet you $1,000,000 they were like, do not get up there. Do not get up there. And he was like, no, I've got to tell my story.
Mm-hmm.
People will, if I get up there and tell people, they will believe me. They will believe me because
I'm amazing.
Yep, just ask me.
Yeah.
I'm really
way
good.
smarter than all of them.
I'm better than everyone.
Uh-huh.
They will believe me because I am. I'm better than them. I'm smarter than them. Well.
Yeah. So on June 25th, the jury returned their verdict, which was a very interesting verdict. It was a split verdict, which is very unusual. So he found
especially in a case like this, it's really tough.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
And what they actually found, they found him guilty of the murder of Carol.
Yep.
Which saying in his version of events, obviously saying like he killed her with the shotgun went off, and that they're saying basically saying
her head.
that no, he's at fault there. He did cold-bloodedly kill her, right? Shot her. We don't believe your story, but we believe that you killed her.
Yep.
However, they found him not guilty of the count of murdering Russell Hill. Now, the reasoning, and you don't know the reasoning from the jury's perspective, but what we can gather is what the reasoning could be with this decision is that because there was no evidence of how Russell Hill died, there's therefore an element of doubt that comes over this of how he died and how has he murdered him? We don't know. So therefore, how can we convict him of murder when we don't even know whether the knife is what killed him or whether he was shot or whether he was strangled or what went on? We don't know. So therefore, they've gone with a not guilty on that one. My thinking, though, is why couldn't they have got him on a manslaughter?
Or even tampering of evidence because...
Well, yeah.
He fully
admits that.
To the fact that he moved the bodies twice, that he burnt their remains, that he burnt the campsite.
Crushed them up.
And he even says it's because I wanted to destroy evidence. I wanted to distance myself from this as much as I could and I didn't
Get him on that.
But he didn't.
Why did they not?
I don't know. I don't know whether they were like, well, let's go for top end. We're going for a double murder conviction here.
But see, there was not enough evidence for that, and because of what he did.
And I totally understand. I really, really feel for Russell Hill's family.
Same. Absolutely.
Because, I mean, I guess we can say what we believe. I think absolutely he should have been convicted of both murders.
100%.
But I feel...
But I don't understand where the jury came from.
That's right. I feel like the jury probably made the right call in the instructions that they were given, because the other thing that's worth noting here is that the instructions to the jury from the judge went for nearly a day.
Yeah.
Because there was so much for this jury to consider. And the judge, I mean, the law sets the bar very, very high, but the judge made that so known to the jury that in order to convict him of both of these murders, these are the parameters that you have to meet. These are the barriers that you have to go overcome, and they are high, and they should be high.
Yep.
That is, it needs to be proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And in terms of Russell's murder or Russell's death, I actually can understand why the jury came back with what they did.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. I do completely agree. But I'm frustrated that there weren't other charges alongside this.
I agree with that. Why didn't they?
Because at the end of the day, all he got was 32 years with 24 years non-parole.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the top end of what he's going to receive for this, he's what, 57 when he went in.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
he'll be 80.
In his 80s at that point. So, look, he's still got some life maybe that he's going to live potentially, where I'd like to just make sure he's in there forever. I don't know that he'll get parole.
I think he'll be in there forever.
Well, but then there is an appeal that's been lodged.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know the outcome of that appeal. That appeal is actually being the leave for appeal hearing is being heard on the 31st of October this year. So at this leave hearing is where they'll decide whether or not the arguments that have been put forward for the appeal are strong enough to justify a full appeal hearing. So we're still not even there yet in terms of hearing a full appeal hearing.
So he's appealing the sentence.
Yes, sentence, not the conviction. And because at the end of the day, this is what shifts me a little bit. So because he's been now acquitted of Russell Hill's murder, double jeopardy laws mean that he can't be tried that again. So that's out the question. So the only outcomes that can come from this is that the conviction and the sentencing is upheld.
Yeah.
The others being that there could be a reduction or a variance of some sort in the sentencing.
Okay.
Or could be a quashed conviction and then ordered a retrial. But that would be only a retrial
of Carol.
Not of Russell.
Oh, fucking hell.
So I don't think you'd want to risk that.
No.
But I mean, they have actually put forward some fairly valid points in their appeal.
Such as?
Okay, so the first one being that it's a procedural unfairness it was a failure to allow Lynn to respond to the Crown attacks because during the closing statement, the prosecution actually accused Russell of changing his story and put forward something that they hadn't brought up earlier. Oh. So he was unable to respond to that and rebut it.
Yep.
So, I mean, and you can't argue that. I mean, I can see that it's actually a valid point.
Yeah.
Dickheads. The other one is a misconduct on the era of ballistics and the forensic evidence. So they're sort of stating that basically that the...
Is this the ballistics evidence of...
With the bullet for Carol.
Yeah, okay.
And saying that where's the real evidence that that's even a bullet.
And that's the thing I've heard discussed. And I think there was a very recent media article about it where they had a forensic expert looking at it. And they basically said, yeah, there is absolutely no way we could get solid ballistic evidence from that because the tiny little micro marks or micro signatures of a bullet that forensics can look at, say if a bullet's gone into flesh that they can then look at is one thing. But all of that would have been lost in the burning of that bone, all of those fine little details. Yes, they might be able to tell that a bullet has passed through a fragment of bone that's been burnt, but they wouldn't be able to say that the bullet came from this gun or that it was this caliber or any of that because there's too much heat damage to that piece of organic material.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other one is in regards to basically the instructions they were given. There's the jury.
What? What's the conjecture
the conjecture there is around the fact that they feel that they reached a guilty verdict by following legal impermissible inferences or by relying on flawed logic or speculation.
Okay.
So they're saying that in particular, the tension point is around Lynn was acquitted of Russell Hill's murder, but convicted of Carol's. So the defence argues that the logical consistency would demand scrutiny. If the jury accepted some version of events for one death, how did they reject it for the other without fallacious reasoning?
Because there was less evidence. I get that. Oh, I also kind of get that from that perspective too, though. Unfortunately.
This is where I feel like legally they're going to wind this around and I really feel there's going to be a reduction in his sentence. That's my prediction.
No.
I really do feel that.
Do you then hope that maybe some further charges are going to be brought against him for previous indiscretions that we've discussed?
Let's hope so. That's what I'm really hoping that, because I'm not ruling out here from what I can read here of what the defence are putting forward for the appeal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put out of the question that he could be
don't say it.
Acquitted.
Don't say it. Are you fucking kidding me?
Murder. I can see where that could be brought. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, yeah. I really hope that they then follow up I think in that case, they've got to bring on charges for moving the bodies.
Yeah.
and those things.
Oh, they would have to.
Surely they can.
They would have it up their sleeve. I mean, they've got the video. They've got the police.
He's
interviews.
admitted to it.
He's
admitted to doing that.
And he says why he did it.
But then, I mean, for that, what's he going to get? 6 years?
Probably time served.
Yeah, time served.
Oh, my God.
So I hope that then they can get him on maybe Lisa, maybe the Gearden
Zigzag,
family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And whoever died in Central Australia when he changed his car in the 90s. He could be a full-blown serial killer.
Oh, my God.
Mm.
Allegedly.
Got to keep that in there, don't we?
Oh, this case blows my mind. It was such an intriguing case to follow at the time.
I thought the button man, I was there, and then I was researching. I went, fuck, there's a whole other side to this that I did not know.
Yeah. Turns out
the button man's completely innocent, nice old dude that just likes to stir people up.
Is he completely? We don't know that.
Apparently to the locals around Macedon, he's really,
they reckon he's fine. He's harmless.
I don't know how harmless is he. He just
But
appears out of nowhere
and takes a photo of you while you're sleeping. Like, no, that's not harmless. Yeah. I mean, at least he's not maybe I don't know. But
doesn't make me want to go camping. Put it that
way. No, exactly. Yeah. The big fours are good for me.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Sticking to the big 4.
Yeah.
All those 5 stars, as I say.
Yeah.
Even better.
I think it's not, we need to keep in mind that at the end of the day, 2 families lost very, very much loved members.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those poor grandkids, I mean, that Carol was besotted with, and then they don't have their grandma anymore. That's freaking awful.
He's,
then Russell,
deceased. Their biological grandfather died, a while before that. Russell and his family, the same thing. I in particular, I have a lot of empathy for Robin Hill.
Absolutely.
Because not only has she lost her husband, everybody knows that he was out there having an affair. That would be embarrassing. It would be... I just can't imagine the mixed emotions that she must be feeling, and I'm sure she's still feeling to this day.
And to know, that, I mean, she loved him. There's no question of that. And that he was then in this position where he was in, a fight of his life situation, whatever went on that day, and that the person that was there with him through that was not you, Carol. Was another woman. I reckon that would be hard too.
Very much so.
To know that. I mean, I know his daughters originally, they sort of said, when we first heard that there was someone else with him, we were kind of, at least he's with someone, he's not alone.
Yeah.
But then it's this double jeopardy of that, of this whole but hang on a minute, that's a woman that he's having an affair with, that he's with. It's a real, it's a comfort, but no, it's not. Yeah, how do you feel about
so
that?
Conflicting. So conflicting.
Such a lot to it. So hopefully they've been able to come to some sort of rest with that, but I mean,
I think during the trial, the 2 families were a support for one another.
Yeah, I know. Carol's sister has been interviewed fairly extensively, and she seems like an absolutely lovely woman,
lovely lady.
And so I can see that she would be incredibly respectful, and there'd be no animosity between both. I think they would both, from the picture you get of them publicly when they've been out in the public, 2 daughters more so, but he did have 3, but they all seem like incredibly lovely, down-to-earth, normal people that I hope that they can all come together and know that this is not malice between them, that this issue is Gregory Lynn.
Yeah, totally.
And that all that stuff is kind of secondary to it, unfortunately.
Even though
it would be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, we'll find out soon. We'll do a bit of an update maybe when we hear about the appeal and where that's at.
We will.
And come back to this again.
Yeah, that's it.
The case that just keeps giving.
Isn't it? My goodness. Now, just a reminder to everybody, next week there will be no episode unless you're a Patreon, in which case we are releasing an episode over there.
Yep.
Thank you to everybody for listening again today. We really appreciate it. And if you would like, please come and follow us on our socials. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
On the dying TikTok.
Yeah. Please help us boost our TikTok again. We had a great run there for a while, but the algorithms changed again, and
It's
we don't even
very
know what's
interesting,
going
the
on.
algorithm, how it works over there. We're still getting probably the same amount of likes, but the views are down. Like,
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Weird. It's
so
really
weird.
strange.
Yeah.
Really, really strange.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to support us, you can do, any likes, all of that, following us in your podcasting app goes a massively long way. We also have a Patreon for those who want to support us at $5 a month. It's the Bestie tier, and that is patreon.com/2crimebesties. You can buy us a coffee over at buymeacoffee.com/2crimebesties.
Oh, come and support. Just listen.
Just listen. That's all we want. And enjoy. And
Absolutely.
comment. Let us know what you think.
Yes.
Good,
love
bad,
that.
and ugly.
Oh, totally. Oh, gosh. Awesome. Stay curious, Crime Besties.
Bye.